Well, thanks for joining us as we actually continue our Christmas celebration. In the Catholic tradition, it goes through the feast of the Epiphany, which is not this weekend, but next weekend. So if you've already taken down your Christmas decorations, I just don't know what we're going to do with you. Anyway, I hope your celebrations have been good so far. I know that, there's a lot of sickness. A lot of people had to cancel plans. There's all mixture for all of us, but I hope that as these days unfold, they unfold with great life and goodness. I enjoyed my time with my family. Since 2 of the 6 kids are priests, we can't get together on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning or even early afternoon, but we usually gather around 4:30 or 5 maybe, have a meal, play a game of Rob Your Neighbor, and just hang. I just love them. I'm so blessed to not only love them, but to like them. And in Rob Your Neighbor, one of the things I got is these little notepad. Now, my niece is going to take the words on this and make a little plaque so I can sit it here in my office. It says, "I am not responsible for what my face does when you talk." I don't know why that makes me laugh. Anyway, we sit at the dawn of a new year, at the eve of a new year. Since the Monday is the Feast of Mary, Mother of God, but since it falls on a Monday, the obligation to attend Mass is dropped, but we'll have one at 9 a.m. Some people have made the suggestion that if you're one of those who stays awake until midnight, and as you're doing the countdown, 10, 9, right when you get on the 3, 2, 1, be sure to lift your left foot so that before 0, so that you would start off the new year on the right foot. So stupid. And I hope the new year holds great life. Today we celebrate the Feast of the Holy Family. And I think it gives us an insight into our families. Thanks for joining. A kindly grandma who was getting up in years lived by herself. Now, because it was getting too difficult to buy Christmas presents for each of her grandkids, one year she decides, I'll just write them each a check and encourage them to buy their own Christmas presents. So she felt pretty good about getting Christmas cards in the mail to each of her grandkids in plenty of time with that little message and a check, until she got home and found that she'd forgot to include the stack of checks which were sitting on her dresser. She realized what this meant is that each grandkid opened a card from Grandma which said, "Merry Christmas, buy your own present," but which had no check in it. Oops. Now, when she realized what she had done, this grandma gave the most wonderful response. She laughed and laughed and laughed at herself. Over the next few days, she'd phone each of the grandkids and have a laugh with them over it as well. She had come to know that mistakes were part of everyone's life, including her own. I mean, everybody loved her. How could they not? She had become comfortable with the phrase, oops. She had learned the wonderful skill of laughing at herself. Wouldn't it be great if we could all learn more and more to accept the fact that we make mistakes and that it's okay that we do so? It is okay. We each flub up and fall short. I mean, wouldn't it be great if, like that grandma, we could relax a bit, say oops, make amends where needed, and be able to laugh at our own foibles? I mean, the truth is, if you haven't already done something like that, Grandma, you will. Now, one of the misunderstandings about today's Feast of the Holy Family is that any family, even the Holy Family, could be without tensions or struggles or hurts or disappointment. I mean, gosh, in Luke's gospel, even the scriptures tell about how this little family is imperfect. You even see a little bit of aggravation maybe with each other. When Jesus was 12, he recounts they went to Jerusalem for the Passover, and on their way back, Mary and Joseph, they couldn't find him. You know, they're traveling with a group, which is how they would have done it. I thought you had him. I thought you did. Oops. And Jesus, well, I thought I told you that I was going to be staying behind a little bit, and then I would eventually catch up. Oops. Now, I'm sure that they had to make some amends there and learn how they wanted to communicate going forward. But we tend to portray the Holy Family in idyllic strokes as if they were perfect in every way. And yet their family, like each of ours, had its own share of tension, miscommunication, struggle, worry. But that's life. Life is imperfect. So is family. I mean, we've been trained to think that perfection should be a goal. But perfection is extremely dangerous. It actually, seeking perfection keeps us from seeing the good that is there. We miss the blessings woven into the imperfection because we think it's supposed to be perfect. It's a great loss. And I'm not saying we don't work on becoming better human beings for the world. Of course we do. That'll be our ongoing and forever call as followers of Christ. But expecting perfection or demanding it causes great harm. And the most angry people I meet are people who can't accept that everyone is imperfect, including themselves. It's when we deny our imperfection and that we haven't come to peace with that we cause the most harm. And sometimes when we expect perfection from ourselves, we get discouraged when we fail to meet some goal, and then we give up, right? So, well, that donut wasn't on my diet, but since I've eaten one, I might as well have a dozen, and each day for the rest of the week, right? Or we then shame ourselves. I'm no good. Well, an important truth is that you and I don't have to be perfect to be lovable, to be good enough. And I know that's harder for some than others to see. It's always been a struggle for me. It's why I have worked so hard for the last few years to do research and write the book, which is actually at the printer right now. I love the title, Are You Good Enough Yet? A book for perfectionists and all who try too hard or worry too much. Count me in, right? As I try to tell myself, if something didn't go so well, that doesn't mean that I'm bad or a failure. I don't need to carry shame, which means that I am bad. The word oops belongs. And when we hold others to some sort of standard of perfection, they will always disappoint us. And then we miss the goodness that's in them. We don't even see the beauty of our own family members because they're not perfect and we let it bother us, right? Now, I am not saying, please don't hear me say that we should accept violence or abuse in the home. If you face that yourself or know someone who does, we'll have information in next week's bulletin about some steps you can take to protect yourself, resource to help you be okay. It is tremendously common, sadly. Today, St. Paul describes what healthy relationships look like, and it's nothing like that. He invites us to heartfelt compassion, kindness, humility, and forgiveness. And then over all of these things, put on love. Not perfection, not rigid control, not mistake-free living, but rather the love that forgives and encourages, learns, and supports. Oops. I am sorry that I treated you that way. That I said this or did that. You deserve better. And I want to learn from this going forward. Now that's the stuff of a holy family. That's the stuff St. Paul was talking about. That's the stuff the Holy Family had to do. That's the stuff of holy families for us. At this eve of a new year, on this feast of the Holy Family, perhaps part of our call, even as we work on growing and becoming better human beings, perhaps even having New Year's resolutions, we also become a bit more comfortable with being imperfect. That we let oops become a part of our vocabulary. And just as importantly, that we don't write off the goodness of another because they are also imperfect. Yep, we all make mistakes. What a gift we could offer the world, our own families, and ourselves if, like that grandma, we could learn to laugh a bit more at ourselves and to become more comfortable with that word. Because oops is a word that could help set us free.